Welcome to the MBL Waiver Focus for our Pokemon League, Masters Battle League. If this is your first time tuning into the Reborn Gaming website, we welcome you to this YouTube page. We do multiple things, whether it be through Smash Bros, Mario Kart, and other related video games. This one is our very first Pokemon League called the Masters Battle League, and this is our very first episode of the MBL Waiver Focus. Similar to the, ESPN Fantasy Football. We too will be doing the same thing where we look at free agents in the league that were not picked up by a team on draft day and see if they're able to, if there are Pokemon for good fits for teams and what overall is the best options for teams as they move forward throughout the weeks. Right? And so I'm happy to be able to do this for you. My name is Nathaniel Shook. I am the coach of Saffron City FC, and we will be going straight into waivers and see, like I said, what Pokemon can be good for specific teams, and if there is opportunities for teams to really, expand on what they're already doing through waiver pickups. And so, for those of you who don't know, we went through 110 Pokemon during draft on March 2nd, which was a Friday night around 8:30. Started around 9 all the way to 11. But 110 Pokemon were drafted, but there are a remaining few that we are going to take a look at. And if you look on your screen, you'll notice about 5 Pokemon that really stand out to me that I think are worth our time looking for a team to really own them. First and foremost, just gonna throw that out there. I think the number one pick off a waiver wire, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because again, like this show is more laid back. It's more of a strategic, like, who can I pick up to instantly help my team out, and just looking off like from face value, the first one that comes to my mind is Pelipper. Pelipper is mainly used for rain teams. You're not going to really use Pelipper outside of that type of thing, unless you want like just simply a good Hurricane user. And the reason why is, and I want to point some of these stats out here, is that Pelipper is really good at setting up rain. And the reason why is because it has an ability to drizzle. So upon switching, it will summon rain and it'll last for about 5 turns. Now, this can be extended if you use Damp Rock. And with his typing water and flying, he gets a lot of moves that actually will be boosted in that rain, whether it be through water moves, or it's through air moves, or not air moves, flying moves, excuse me, just a minute, such as Hurricane. And what makes this such a devastating Pokemon is not because of its outwardly great stats. The only real standout stat is Pelipper's special attack at 95, and then his defense is at 100. So a lot of the times what you're going to do is you're going to build Pelipper more of an offensive type of Pokemon, because you gotta go to its strengths, and then just build upon the special attack at that point. Its HP stat is at 60, so it's not the greatest HP stat in the world. So you could build it defensive, put a little bit in HP to make it a little bit more bulky, but also try to get that stat line up higher in the special attack department. And the reason why I say this is because, again, Drizzle is a really big, and probably the biggest draw for Pelipper is that you can set rain up upon switching. So you send him in, rains up immediately, no move required, and he can start firing off 140 based attack, 100% accuracy Hurricanes. I believe they're 140, but regardless, the Hurricanes are hitting at 100% accuracy in the rain. Typically, this would not be the case, as the percentage of or the chance that the move will actually hit will be greatly decreased. So we see that there's the ability to instantly be thrown in there and just fire off stuff left and right. Now, say you don't want to build Pelipper that way. Well, don't worry. You can just put Rain Dance on him, and he has an ability called Rain Dish, which I typically wouldn't do this. I mean, you can pair it with like a Politoed who can set up rain. You want to be careful though, because a lot of times when you build rain teams and you're building a lot of water, you are not taking into account your weaknesses, and I think that's what is the biggest problem moving forward, is that you're not able to, if you commit to the rain but you do it in a way that isn't well thought out, you have a glaring weakness in just electric weakness. And so Pelipper, you typically want to run Drizzle. You typically want to make sure you set up the rain and you keep the rain. And this is done by a cool move that he learns called U-turn. U-turn allows the user to, upon being played, and not only are you setting up rain, but you can dip out there for momentum or switch initiative if you don't like the Pokemon that you're facing. So you see that, you're like, okay, well, and the person hard switch out to another one, you're like, ah, U-turn. If you're fast enough, you can hit U-turn, back out and switch them, but also it's a good way to get consistent damage on other mons you typically would not be able to hit, and make sure you get Pelipper out from a safe distance. Pelipper needs to be on a rain team. It needs to be on a rain team, and so far the only teams that can really do rain, at least in my opinion, do it well, or have the potential to do it well, is James' team, as most of his mons are water, but then again that gives you kind of an issue where, like, you don't want to have your team fully water, like just all water. And then the other teams would be my team in Saffron. The issue is I have so many electric types. Setting up rain, yes, I could run thunder, but because of how the stat distributions are running, it's really hard. Now, a team that's interesting though, and again a team that needs rework, I would say probably Kaylee's team needs the most rework. Now, is she able to run Pelipper and run a rain team? That's another question. I'm sure if people talk to her, if she learned, I'm sure she'd get it. But I think the one that would benefit the most, because think about it, you have Vaporeon as a Wish Pasture, you have Rain Dish on that as well, or whatever. I think you do. I'm trying to find it, but I'm not sure. But Suicune and Vaporeon are gonna love the rain, and then she already has Jolteon, which she could probably not just instead of Thunderbolt run Thunder, and she already has a bunch of rain people, so you could just slap on, like, it has the ability Volt Absorb. So I mean, you could change the team to a rain, but that would be committing a lot, and you would have to drop a lot of Pokemon in order to pull that off, and so I probably wouldn't advise that as much unless you're, she really needs to change that. But those three teams, generally, I would say James, myself, Kaylee. You can even throw, what is it? You probably throw Pallet Town in there if they really want to. They have the means to do it. I don't think it's wise to do it with how all around they are with the typing and stuff, and how they have each core. With Rain Team, you're looking for specific mons in there. You could have, actually this is good, Pewter City is a good one for Rain. Yes, you have the Sand Team, but you can easily transition that into a Rain Team, especially when you already have Kingdra. Adding Pelipper isn't a bad thing. Isn't a bad thing at all. And then there's other mons on this list that you can pick up, which leads us to my next one. If you're setting up a Rain Team, it kind of follows this kind of track for the majority of the actual episode is Mantine. Pick up Mantine. Pelipper was ranked 35 out of 124 that were ranked in our draft, but Mantine was ranked 29. And this is important because it lives in rain dance teams. Like that is its whole focus, is to be in rain dance teams, and it thrives in it too. You have on Mantine the ability Swift Swim, Water Veil, and Water Absorb. Now, I'm not too keen. I don't know a lot about Water Veil, but Water Absorb is huge. You pretty much have a water immunity. It's going to heal you, and then Swift Swim actually increases your speed. Now, let me just drop this little tidbit of knowledge here, okay? Mantine is packing 85 HP, which isn't that big of a deal, and it has 80 special attack. So already it's very similar to Pelipper, where there's a certain kind of niche that he fills. But he's a special tank, and he's water and flying. So again, there is an electric weakness. So if you commit to those two mons, Pelipper or Mantine, you got to be careful, because there will be a glaring weakness, and teams will be able to pick it apart. But Mantine packs a walloping 140 special defense. You hear that? 140 special defense. With Water Absorb, this thing is freaking tanky as all get out and can easily wall out special teams. So teams such as Viridian City, with the coach being Cheyenne, Mantine would eat probably a Z Hydro Vortex from Manaphy. I mean, I doubt it, but then again, I wouldn't put it past it. At 140 base, you're looking at, with Rain Up, yes, it boosts water, but you also have Water Absorb, so you're immune. It'll take anything you want. You will have to worry for more grass-type moves, obviously. But again, that flying typing is going to kind of weaken them a tiny bit. Mantine is one of those ones where you have to be in the right team. you have to have already a big bulky water and probably a water ground, so like a Swampert isn't bad either. A Quagsire is not bad, and then again having Kingdra isn't bad either in that rain team, and it appreciates it appreciates teammates that will be able to protect it, and it does a multitude of other stuff, especially with this move coverage. Now, kind of getting off the rain for a little bit, the next one that I'm actually surprised that wasn't picked up, and so if you're looking for a regenerator core, so if you look at the only regenerator core that we really see is in, what is it? I believe Cinnabar Island. The coach would be Philip Shook, where he has 2 of them. Now, he already has Tangrowth, so he doesn't need another grass mon for regenerator. However, there are certain things that Amoonguss does that is really freaking good. Effect Spore, like, already good, but again, regenerator is what we want to harp on. It's a grass and poison type, so now you have the poison type, so you're able to effectively deal with fairy types, or at least resist some of the fairy types. But then you can build it whether you want it to be defensive or especially defensive. Now, defensive, his defense stat is base 70. It's not the greatest thing in the world, and his special defense is 80. Again, it's not the greatest. And his speed at 30. And this guy's got a base total stat of 464. So he's not breaking records and doing something amazing. He just has more base stats than Pelipper. And here's the reason why. His HP is at 114, meaning that you can build defenses up solely, so you can put investments in defense and special attack. And because the HP is so high, it's going to be able to wall a lot of stuff out, and gives him the ability to use different types of spores in order to set up. Honestly, like poison, paralysis, sleep, you name it, Amoonguss has got to be, it can set that up with relative ease, and that's where Amoonguss is really good, and it will resist spores. It's grass type, you can't be leech seed on it, can't be, so this is going to be really effective against a Celesteela. It's going to be fantastic. I mean, you won't be able to poison it, but you'll be able to do a little bit more. Granted, that's kind of out there, as Celestia does learn fire, so it's not really the greatest. But Amoonguss put it in a regenerator core, so say like a Saffron City, they already have Reuniclus, and so adding that poison grass type in Amoonguss, that's something that you should look at, especially if Saffron doesn't have a lot of bulk to it, which I don't think it necessarily has a lot of bulk, but it has a decent amount. So Amoonguss is kind of there. It's if you need like some sleep there, a little bit of mixture there, and a hazard setter, and just be able to use status afflicting moves and just kind of set up on it and wall people out. With that, my next pick is different. I originally had Porygon Z, but when you look at the teams, there's really no need to have another special attacker, as most teams have a decent special attacker or special sweeper. So what I actually picked out is Darmanitan, and the reason why Darmanitan is a monster of a Pokemon is the ability Sheer Force. So any of the secondary effects or anything like that, it has a 10% chance to flinch, or it has a 10% chance to poison or paralyze or cause paralysis. Darmanitan, it will actually, because of Sheer Force, it will actually make that move more powerful. So you're looking at a Flare Blitz, which has a 10% chance to burn, or is it 30? I'm not really sure. Yes, it has recoil, but that Flare Blitz now becomes exponentially stronger. Exponentially stronger, okay? And the reason why this is important, because Darmanitan can be run bulky, as it has a 105 HP stat, which is a huge standout. Honestly, if you look at it for fire types, then fire types don't really have a lot of bulk, other than maybe Moltres or Heatran. It has base 95 speed, but the biggest thing is base 140 speed. And so if you're looking for an easy pickup for an easy sweeper, you can Choice Scarf, or if you're feeling like you can outspeed the majority of stuff with just speed investment, so you can just Choice Band it. Darmanitan is a good one that can be fat, it's easy to use, and it can add that offensive physical pressure if you're lacking on it. So say for we'll use Viridian, as they are probably the most special based team in the actual league. You can slap Darmanitan in conjunction with Terrakion and kind of force people's hands to switch out if something can't take it physically. Again, the issue is, again, defense is 55, special defense is 55. In my own opinion, this thing needs to be scarfed. Let him outspeed and sweep. Doesn't need to really set up. He doesn't need to. That 140 base attack, if you just invested into attack and speed and scarf it, You can maybe make it adamant, but if you really want to make sure you outspeed, you run it jolly, and this thing is going to really put on some pressure. It will effectively scare out Celesteela. It'll effectively remove Magearna from play, as Magearna and Celesteela do not want to mess with that. And if you look at the top mons up on this list, it's really important. Ferrothorn doesn't want to deal with it. Scizor doesn't want to deal with it. So there are, even I would say Kyurem B doesn't want to deal with it. And if it's Scarfed, it's going to make those specific mons get the crap out. You also look at T-Tar, because he can learn fighting moves. T-Tar gets scared out because of this. If T-Tar is able to survive that hit, then you have another issue. But if it's able to come in on a kind of a neutral or more offensive Tyranitar, that thing's dead. Tapu Bulu does not appreciate Choice Scarfed, Adamant, Darmanitan, and also Magnezone doesn't want to touch this either. Skarmory doesn't want to touch this either. And we can keep going down the list, but there's something to be said about a 140 base attack Darmanitan Scarfed with Adamant, or just Scarfed in general. I mean, because still that 140 base thing is huge. And I am, like, incredibly surprised that Pokemon such as, was it Como-O, Scolipede, especially on this list, Chandelure went before Darmanitan. And Chandelure, that makes sense. You have 145 special attack. You're effectively getting a special Darmanitan with Flame Body and Flash Fire, so it's immune to fire moves. So I get that on Justin's part for drafting him. But for Darmanitan, if you need a fire move, or if you need a Firemon and you're in desperate need of one for that coverage, I'll look towards Darmanitan, and you'll find that this thing is just a monster and it's scary. You have to be ready for it, because it can come in and just wreak havoc. Again, it learns access to fighting and fire moves, which is going to abuse those ones. Again, I haven't looked at this move pool, but this is one where in multiple leagues outside of the MBL, that it has absolutely been terrifying for teams to go up against, and I imagine it'd be terrifying too, especially when the skill gap or the skill level in this league isn't as to the UCL or the GBA. So always look to that. And then lastly, my other pick is Tornadus. Again, this is going back to more of the Rain team that I've kind of structured. I think Rain, the fact that a Rain team was not set up and made for this league is mind-boggling to me. That a Rain team was not even aware, like no one was aware of this. Similar to that of Thundurus, Tornadus is Prankster and also Defiant. So Defiant, if it gets hit with a dark move, I think its speed is increased, I'm not sure. Or if it's, no, I think it's, that's Justified. Justified means your attack is raised and you get hit with the dark move. Defiant, if someone tries to lower a stat, your speed goes up type of deal. Prankster is again the one where a Prankster, this is key, if it's a status move, whether it's setting up rocks, it was toxic, whether it's Confuse Ray, Charm, all like Tail Whip, Tail Glow, also if you have Prankster, you have priority. It adds priority to the move, so you will more than likely go first, okay? So we have that. Tornadus is a pure flag type, and in this metagame, Ice and Thunderbolt are good coverage moves on the majority of mons. But that being said, here's the reason why it's important. It has good stats all across the board. 79 HP isn't the greatest, yes, and 70 defense and 80 special defense again isn't great. But the attack, just the attack alone, is at 115. Its speed is at 111. And its special attack is at 125. Now, what people don't understand, when people talk about Tornadus, they usually talk about Therian, its Regenerator. It's probably it is the better version, honestly, of Tornadus. Actually, the Therian one is actually faster, so this one's getting more investment into attack and actually special attack. So this one will actually hit harder and has the ability to use Prankster. Again, the only reason why it's ranked 91 is honestly because of the typing and what's available in the draft, as most Pokemon have those coverage moves of Ice or Thunder or Thunderbolt. But this is what's crazy. Similar to that of Pelipper, it knows Hurricane, and if you're running a Rain team and you're at base 111, you are hitting a Mon that you're probably going to outspeed with base 111. And you're hitting them with a 140 base attack and 100% accuracy because it's Hurricane in the rain. So this is assuming you're setting up a Rain team with your Mon having 125 base attack. That's Tornadus Incarnate. That is Tornadus right there, and it has not been picked up. No one even thought about, because I'm looking at this right now. No one even thought that, oh, the Pelipper, the rain team is good. And like even myself, I'm like, it's not good. But this is real. This mon is on the board, and it is something that everyone should be scared of. If someone drafts this, they have every intention of abusing the situation, and that is honestly, if Pelipper's on the board and you're trying to transition and make kind of an interesting play style with your team, go rain. Go rain. But then again, I understand. Don't make a full rain team. Try to make it. You can make it halvesies, so you can always have the dual threat. But it's on to Nate's waiver wire focus. What is it? Sleeper pick of the week, and even before week 1 happens, but this is the first week of waivers. This is my sleeper pick. This is the one that I feel like you should really consider, because again, and I'm looking at you, Chris. I'm looking at you. You need to pick this mod up, because for your Sandstorm team, this Sandstorm team, this is what you need. It is undoubtedly Landorus Incarnate. And I'm really harping on these genies right now. You got Tornadus Incarnate, you got Landorus Incarnate. But the one thing that I feel like a lot of, in this type of a league format where there's a lot of teams, a lot of mons being taken, is that when you get to a point where a lot of these mons are good, but because there was one, usually leagues will go around, what is it, 14, 16, so there's a lot, they go deeper, so you're able to kind of pick from the lower mons that maybe don't have enough power, but because there's only 10, there's a lot of strong mons here, and so you're limited in what you can take on the lower end of, like, say, a Smogon tier list of, like, RU and NU. So you have this guy, Landorus Incarnate, who, yes, is not allowed with sheer force. And so we understand that it's not allowed with sheer force. Well, let's get this out of the way. It's immune to electric. Its typing is ground and flying, so its only weakness is ice. And a little bit of water. But its weakness is mainly ice you have to worry about. HP is at 89, defense is at 90, special defense at 80, speed at 101, and then they got a little bit more because it's not the Therian form of the speed. The speed's actually lower in Therian. So Landorus Therian has 91, so you're getting a boost in speed at 101, and then you have it at 115 special attack, and then 125 attack. So it's going to be weaker in physical power than Landorus Therian. However, you're getting speed out of it, and I believe that's about it. The HP, defenses, everything is pretty much fine. It's just the attack stat in Therian is being distributed into special attack and speed. So there are different sets you can run. I don't know if you're able to run a special one, but going back on the physical side, you have the speed and the ability to outspeed a lot of mons at base 101, and you get the ability Sand Force. So if you're running a Sand team, Sand Force is going to be incredibly important, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. Moving forward, I'm looking up Sand Force just so I can get like this just right for you, because it's very important we understand what the abilities do, because if you don't, then wireless obviously. But Landorus Eye screams, especially for a Sandstream team in Chris. Pewter City FC has T-Tar, Excadrill, and Magnezone as a good core. At least you can look at a sand core. Steel's going to resist that Sandstream stuff, and it is so deadly. And I don't think people understand that at all. I really don't, because okay, so rock types get boosted. As we've spoken before, they get boosted special defense if they're rock. And so this is just, and Sand Force, if I can look it up, man, I gotta look it up. I know this is like a horrible recording here, but it's something we gotta figure out, because I read it before, and this is just, yeah. All right. So it's not sheer force like you're used to, it's Sand Force, okay? And in Generation 7, which is the one we're playing in, boost the power of rock, ground, and steel type moves in Sandstorm. So this thing, as T-Tar comes in with Sandstream to put up the Sandstorm, you are having a Lando Eye at base 101 with 125 base attack with improved rock and ground moves, because this thing learns Earthquake, and it's going to outspeed everything. So you are able to effectively just KO crap from the get-go. And you can scarf this thing if you want to make sure you outspeed people, and you're doing and you're able to get the kill. But especially for like Pewter City, and this is where we want to talk about like what teams will use this effectively. He's got to be careful because a lot of his mons are already ground, and adding the ground flying is still going to give you this glaring weakness to ice. But this is another mon that will greatly benefit from the sand being up, and it's something that you have to focus on. You have to focus on, because you can Oko Magirna. You can't Oko, but like there's a potential to have a good check to Magirna and other steel types. Like Heatran doesn't want to be in on this. Ferrothorn can probably take this one, honestly, but like T-Tar doesn't want to take it. But one thing to note is that all these mons like T-Tar, Excadrill, Magnezone, all these ones that we're talking about, Chris has. Chris from Pewter City FC has them. And so this is a sleeper pick that if he picks them up, it's great. But if anyone who wants to really use Lando, maybe not for the Sand Force, but use it as a check to it, or anything, Sand Force has great utility, and Lando Eye has great utility. It's fast, it's got natural bulk, and it hits hard like a truck. And so I encourage you to look at those sleeper picks. Again, kind of the mons that I picked for this week's waiver wire to look into to make your team better. Maybe you're out shopping for a Pokemon that you need to be that you need to fill in for your specific role. You got Drizzle Pelipper, you got Swift Swim or Water Absorb or Water Veil, Mantine, depending on what you want. If you're setting up that rain team, you have a Mungus, which is a great utility mon with Regenerator. So if you have a Regenerator Pokemon you want to add to that, feel free. Or if you want a Regenerator as a way to kind of strengthen your core or defensive core, take it. If you want raw power to scare out, or if you need a fire type with good moves and good coverage to really put like scare people out and really bring the pressure, Darmanitan is your mon you want now. And then Tornadus is the next one with Hurricane in Rain. Absolute fast mon is all get out, and it just scares people out. There are also some other honorable mentions that I would look into. Obviously, I already mentioned Porygon Z is a big one. There's a lot of special attackers, but with adaptability and analytic with 135 base, special attack and 90 speed, and 85 HP, that is something to look into. If you need a special mon, or if you want to set up, it also knows download. So if you want a mon that can kind of throw people off or have some nifty sets with a special side or a special sweeper, that is your mon for you. If you are dealing with problems for electric type Pokemon, or you're looking for more of a Trick Room team, I would also suggest Marowak Alolan Form, as it has Lightning Rod. It's slow, but it's bulky and should be able to help you out. And so that is our show for this week for our waiver focus for Pokemon. If you have any questions or concern, or if you have any mentions like this set was good, or if there's anything that you'd like to see in our next episode, of like how would it fit into a team, or if you want to see more mods, or maybe even see sets that we can use, please let me know in the description below. I am more than happy to put that in for next time, as this is, or hopefully is, helpful for those who are in the league and for those fans who are just interested in what teams will do. Right now there is only one waiver that was actually turned in. I'm not sure who it was from, but we're going to see at midnight. So look for that update video in midnight if there is anyone who actually does use waivers. We hope that this show helps out. My name is Nate, and this has been an awesome time with you guys. And this is the MBL waiver focus for the Masters Battle League. Join us next time after week 1 of the MBL and see what other waivers or whatever other waiver moves happen. If there are any trades that happen, we are more than happy to let you know in a timely manner. So just keep your eyes on the Reborn Gaming YouTube. This is Nate signing out. See you guys later.